Ladies and gentlemen, today we delve into a subject that has the power to free your soul, lighten your heart, and unlock the doors to a brighter future. It's a subject that is as old as humanity itself, yet it remains one of the hardest lessons for many to embrace. We're talking about forgiveness, not just forgiving others, but also forgiving yourself. Forgiveness is not a weakness, it's a strength, a tool for transformation, and the key to living a life of peace and purpose. Let's explore this profound topic through a set of key principles that will guide you on the journey of forgiveness. Forgiveness is one of the most profound acts of self-liberation we can ever undertake. It is not about endorsing the wrongs committed against us, nor is it about erasing the memory of what happened. Instead, forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves, a declaration that we will no longer allow the pain of the past to dictate the quality of our present or the promise of our future. It is the decision to unshackle ourselves from the heavy chains of resentment, anger, and bitterness. When someone hurts us, the pain can linger like a shadow, coloring our days and weighing down our hearts. But here's the truth. Holding on to resentment doesn't punish the other person. It punishes us. It keeps us tethered to the very moment that caused us harm, replaying it over and over in our minds. We become prisoners, locked away by our own unwillingness to let go. But forgiveness? Forgiveness is the key that unlocks that prison door. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones everywhere you go. Each stone represents a grievance, a betrayal, a wound that has yet to heal. Over time, that weight takes a toll, not just on your body, but on your spirit. It drains your energy, steals your joy, and stifles your ability to move forward. Forgiveness is the act of opening that backpack and one by one, removing those stones. It's not always easy and it's not always quick, but every stone you release brings you closer to freedom. Now let's be clear, choosing to forgive does not mean the pain disappears overnight. It doesn't mean you have to welcome the offender back into your life or pretend the hurt didn't matter. Forgiveness is not about them. It's about you. It's about saying, I refuse to let what happened to me define who I am. It's about reclaiming your power and prioritizing your peace above all else. Forgiveness is an act of courage. It takes strength to confront your pain, to acknowledge the harm done, and to choose a different path, a path of healing instead of hatred. But with every step you take on that path, you rediscover pieces of yourself that were buried beneath the weight of resentment. You start to see the world through clearer eyes, no longer clouded by anger or despair. Think of forgiveness as a bridge that connects the brokenness of the past with the possibilities of the future. To cross it, you must be willing to leave behind the baggage that no longer serves you. And on the other side of that bridge lies freedom. The freedom to love, to trust, to dream again. So today I urge you to understand what forgiveness truly is. It's not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate demonstration of strength. It's not about them. It's about you. When you forgive, you choose yourself. You choose growth, peace, and the limitless potential of a life unburdened by pain. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many people think it's about excusing someone else's behavior, about letting them walk away without accountability. But let me tell you something powerful. Forgiveness has never been about them. It's about you. It's about taking back the control over your heart and mind that you might have unknowingly handed over. When you refuse to forgive, you're not holding them accountable. You're holding yourself hostage. Imagine anger, bitterness, and blame as weights tied around your ankles. Every step forward feels like a struggle because those weights are dragging you down. You might think that clinging to resentment keeps the other person accountable, but in reality, it's only you who bears the burden. They've likely moved on while you remain stuck, replaying the pain in your mind, trapped in a cycle of hurt that benefits no one. Forgiveness is the act of cutting those weights loose. It's about saying, I will no longer carry this pain with me. I will no longer let it steal my peace. When you choose to forgive, you're not erasing what happened or ignoring the impact it had on you. You're simply choosing to release its hold on your life. You're deciding that your happiness, your peace of mind, and your future are far too valuable to be shaped by someone else's actions. Forgiveness is the ultimate act of self-care, a declaration that you are in charge of your emotional well-being. Not them, not their behavior, and certainly not the pain they caused. Here's the truth. Life is too short and too precious to waste on holding grudges. Every moment spent dwelling on anger or bitterness is a moment stolen from your joy, your growth, and your dreams. Forgiveness isn't about denying what happened. It's about refusing to let what happened define you. It's about reclaiming your energy and redirecting it toward the things that truly matter. Forgiveness doesn't change the past, but it changes your relationship with it. It allows you to see the pain as a chapter, not the whole story. It gives you the power to move forward unshackled by the weight of yesterday. And in doing so, you become stronger, wiser, and more compassionate, not because of what they did, but because of how you chose to rise above it. When you forgive, you're not saying the pain didn't matter. You're saying that your future matters more. You're drawing a line in the sand and declaring, this is where the hurt stops and my healing begins. You're taking control of your narrative, reclaiming the joy and peace that are your birthright. So, let forgiveness be your act of liberation. Let it remind you that no one's actions have the power to dictate your happiness unless you allow it. In forgiving, you're not letting them off the hook. You're setting yourself free. And that freedom is a gift only you can give yourself. Choose it. Choose you. Forgiving yourself is one of the most transformative acts you can ever undertake. Yet, it's often the hardest. We stumble, we fall, and instead of dusting ourselves off with compassion, we cling to guilt and shame like anchors. But here's the truth. No one benefits from your self-condemnation. Holding on to guilt doesn't make you a better person. It keeps you trapped in the past. Forgiving yourself is not about dismissing responsibility for your actions. It's about accepting your humanity and allowing yourself the space to grow. Think about it. Would you treat a dear friend the way you often treat yourself? If someone you cared about made a mistake, you'd encourage them to learn from it, to grow, and to move forward. So why do we so often withhold that same kindness from ourselves? We hold on to our failures as if they define us, replaying them in our minds like a broken record. But those mistakes, they're not who you are. They're lessons. They're stepping stones on the path to becoming the person you're meant to be. Carrying guilt and shame is like trying to run a marathon while dragging a boulder behind you. It slows you down, drains your energy, and robs you of the joy and freedom you could be experiencing. And here's the thing, that boulder, you're the one holding on to it. Forgiving yourself is the act of letting go, of choosing to set yourself free. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's about refusing to let it hold you back any longer. You are human. You are not perfect, and you never will be. But perfection was never the goal. The goal is growth. The goal is progress. And growth requires grace. It requires you to look at yourself with honesty, to own your mistakes, but also to recognize that those mistakes do not define your worth. They are not the end of your story. They are simply a chapter, one that can lead to something greater if you let it. When you forgive yourself, you create space for transformation. You stop pouring your energy into self-criticism and start channeling it into becoming better, stronger, and wiser. You open the door to possibilities, to opportunities, to the life you were meant to live. Self-forgiveness is not a weakness, it's a strength. It takes courage to confront your shortcomings, to learn from them, and to move forward with humility and determination. So, I ask you to look within. What are you holding on to that no longer serves you? What guilt, shame, or regret have you allowed to weigh you down? It's time to let it go. It's time to give yourself the same grace you would offer someone you love. Because when you forgive yourself, you unlock your potential. You free yourself to grow, to thrive, and to become the incredible person you were always meant to be. Choose to forgive yourself. Choose to move forward. Choose the life that's waiting for you on the other side of grace. Forgiveness is not about denial. It's not about sweeping the pain under the rug or pretending that the hurt didn't cut deep. True forgiveness begins with acknowledging the pain, facing it with honesty, and allowing yourself to feel the weight of it. Only by confronting what's real can we take the first step toward releasing it. But here's the key. While we must acknowledge the pain, we cannot allow ourselves to dwell there. Dwelling on the pain only keeps it alive. replaying it like a relentless echo in our hearts and minds. Acknowledging the pain is an act of courage. It requires you to confront uncomfortable emotions, anger, betrayal, disappointment, and sorrow. It means facing what has been done to you, not as a victim, but as someone ready to take back control. When you acknowledge the pain, you're not giving it more power. You're reclaiming your power. You're saying, yes, this hurt me. Yes, this was unfair. But this pain will not define me. Too often, people confuse forgiveness with forgetting. They think letting go means erasing the memory of what happened, as if the pain should disappear entirely. Imagine for a moment that you're holding a hot coal in your hand. The longer you hold it, the more it burns. Acknowledging the pain is like recognizing that the coal is there, it's real, it's hot, and it's hurting you. But dwelling on the pain is the same as gripping the coal tighter, refusing to let it go. The burn intensifies and you suffer even more. Forgiveness is the act of opening your hand and releasing the coal. It doesn't undo the burn, but it stops the pain from worsening. It frees you to begin healing. Dwelling on the pain keeps you stuck in a cycle of anger and sadness, unable to move forward. It robs you of joy, peace, and progress. But when you acknowledge the hurt and choose to move beyond it, you reclaim your future. You give yourself permission to heal, to grow, and to rebuild your life on your terms. Forgiveness doesn't deny what happened. It doesn't excuse or minimize the hurt. It recognizes it fully, but it also refuses to be consumed by it. It says, this pain is part of my story, but it's not the whole story. It says, I am more than what has been done to me. And in that realization, there is power to transform your past into fuel for your future, power to reclaim your peace, and power to rise stronger than before. So acknowledge the pain, look it in the eye, and name it for what it is. But don't live there. Don't build your home in sorrow or let the hurt define you. Choose forgiveness and let it transform your pain into a stepping stone to the life you're meant to live. Choosing forgiveness over revenge is one of the most profound and empowering decisions you can make. At first glance, revenge may appear tempting, a way to reclaim your power, to settle the score, to make the other person feel the hurt you've carried. But let me tell you something. Revenge is a hollow victory. It offers a fleeting sense of satisfaction, but leaves behind a deeper emptiness, a sense of regret that weighs heavier over time. It traps you in the same cycle of negativity and pain that the other person initiated, and worse yet, it binds you to them, tethering your emotions to their actions. Forgiveness, though? Forgiveness is where the true power lies. It is not a passive act, but a deliberate choice, a decision to rise above the situation, to break free from the chains of anger and bitterness, and to reclaim your peace of mind. It's not about condoning what happened or excusing the harm done. Forgiveness is about taking back control. It's about saying, you will not define my happiness or dictate my future. Revenge might feel like strength in the moment, but real strength comes from letting go. Imagine carrying a heavy weight around everywhere you go. That's what resentment and the desire for revenge feel like. You may think that weight is protecting you, giving you an edge, but all it's really doing is exhausting you. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is the act of setting that weight down. It's the ultimate expression of courage and self-respect. Choosing forgiveness doesn't mean the other person wins. It means you win. It means you refuse to be consumed by their actions or by the anger they sparked within you. Forgiveness frees you to move forward, untethered and unburdened. It allows you to channel your energy into something positive, your growth, your dreams, your peace, rather than wasting it on negativity. Think of it this way. Revenge keeps you looking backward, replaying the pain, reliving the hurt. But forgiveness shifts your focus forward. It opens the door to healing and gives you the clarity and strength to pursue the life you deserve. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting or allowing someone back into your life. It means you've made the conscious decision to prioritize your well-being over the desire to retaliate. When you forgive, you don't let the other person off the hook. You let yourself off the hook. You release the grip of anger and bitterness, and you reclaim the freedom to live without their shadow hanging over you. Forgiveness is the highest form of strength because it requires you to confront your pain, rise above it, and refuse to let it dictate your. So, choose forgiveness. Empathy and understanding are powerful tools in the journey toward forgiveness. Often, the pain we endure at the hands of others isn't born from malice, but from their own struggles, wounds, or insecurities. This doesn't excuse their behavior or diminish the hurt they caused, but it opens the door to a deeper truth. People act out of their own experiences, their own pain, and their own imperfections. When you begin to see the humanity behind the harm, you unlock the potential for compassion, and with it, the ability to let go of resentment. It's easy to see those who hurt us as villains, as antagonists in our story. But life is rarely so black and white. People are complex, shaped by their own challenges, fears, and failures. By stepping back and considering their perspective, you create space for empathy. This doesn't mean you agree with or condone what they've done. It simply means you choose to see them as human, flawed, struggling, and sometimes lost, just as we all can be. Empathy doesn't justify their actions, but it helps you understand them. And that understanding can ease the burden of anger you've been carrying. Think about a time when you've made a mistake or hurt someone unintentionally. Perhaps it came from a moment of weakness, a misunderstanding, or even a place of your own hurt. How would you want to be seen in that moment? Would you want to be judged solely by your worst actions? Or would you hope for someone to see the person behind the mistake? The same grace you'd wish for yourself is the grace that empathy invites you to extend to others. Knowing that ultimately there's more trustworthiness than empathy invites you to extend to others. When you choose to practice empathy, you're not giving away your power, you're reclaiming it. You're no longer letting anger or resentment dictate how you feel. Instead, you're taking control of your emotional well-being, choosing to see beyond the hurt and move toward healing. Empathy builds a bridge, not just to forgiveness, but to freedom. It allows you to release the grip of bitterness and opens your heart to the possibility of peace. Remember, everyone is fighting battles you may not see. The person who hurt you may be carrying burdens they've never spoken of, battling insecurities they don't know how to overcome, or reliving pain they don't know how to process. This doesn't make their actions right, but it does make them human. And when you see their humanity, it becomes easier to let go. Not for their sake, but for your own. Empathy transforms how you relate to the past. It shifts your focus from blame to understanding, from anger to compassion. It doesn't mean forgetting or excusing. It means freeing yourself from the cycle of hurt. It's a powerful step toward forgiveness, and forgiveness is a gift you give yourself. So choose empathy. Choose to see beyond the pain. Choose to let go, not because they deserve it, but because you do. Every experience in life, even the painful ones, carries a lesson, an opportunity for growth, a chance to become better. At first, it's easy to see these challenges as obstacles, as moments of suffering that we wish would simply disappear. But what if we could shift our focus? What if, instead of viewing pain as something to avoid or resent, we began to see it as a powerful teacher, here to guide us on our journey? Gratitude is the key that unlocks this perspective. When you choose to be grateful for the lessons hidden in your experiences, forgiveness becomes a natural response. You stop holding on to the pain because you realize that every difficulty has contributed to the person you are today, the person you are becoming. It's in these moments of hardship that we learn the most about ourselves, our resilience, our ability to persevere, and our capacity to rise after falling. Think about the times in your life when you faced adversity. In the midst of the struggle, it was hard to see anything but the pain. But now, with a little distance, you can likely see the lessons learned, the strength gained, and the wisdom acquired. Maybe that betrayal taught you to trust yourself more, or the failure pushed you to work harder and smarter. Perhaps the rejection ignited a passion or purpose you hadn't realized before. If you look closely enough, you'll see that every experience, no matter how painful, has helped shape the person you are today, the person you're becoming. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It moves you from a mindset of victimhood to one of empowerment. It allows you to see that everything that has happened to you has prepared you for the next step, for the next chapter of your life. Pain doesn't have to break you. It can build you if you choose to see it that way. If you choose to ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Rather than, why did this happen to me? You take control of your emotions, your actions, and your future. When you embrace gratitude for the lessons, forgiveness becomes a natural response. It's not about excusing or forgetting what was done. It's about understanding that the experience has served a purpose. The person who wronged you, the situation that hurt you, these are just chapters in your story. And while they may have caused pain, they've also contributed to your growth. When you recognize this, you release the hold that anger and resentment have on you. You no longer need to carry the weight of the past because you understand its value in shaping your journey. Gratitude empowers you to find meaning in adversity. It allows you to see the silver lining in even the darkest clouds. And once you've discovered that meaning, once you've truly absorbed the lessons life is offering you, forgiveness becomes a powerful act of release. It's not a gift you give to others, it's a gift you give to yourself. A gift that frees you to move forward with peace, with strength, and with the confidence that no matter what happens, you have everything you need within you to rise again. One of the toughest battles we face in the process of forgiveness is the desire to be right. The need to be right keeps us locked in a cycle of conflict, resentment, and pride. It anchors us to the past and holds us hostage to an idea of justice that often only serves to fuel our anger. In fact, the more we hold on to the need to be right, the more we deny ourselves the very peace we long for. Think about it. How often do we sacrifice our own happiness for the sake of being right? How many relationships, opportunities, and moments of joy have we forfeited because we insisted on having the final word or being the one to win the argument? The need to be right is a heavy burden to carry. It weighs us down, keeps us locked in negative emotions, and prevents us from moving forward. This is unlimited to being forward. Letting go of that need is liberating. It's an act of humility, a decision to place peace above pride. It's about understanding that being right isn't always the most important thing. Sometimes the greatest victory comes in choosing not to engage in a battle at all, in choosing to walk away from a conflict without needing to prove anything. When you release the need to be right, you open the door to healing, to growth, and to freedom. Forgiveness is about reclaiming your peace. It's about letting go of the weight of anger, resentment, and the need for validation. It's about choosing to prioritize your emotional well-being over being justified. Yes, you may have been wronged. Yes, you may have been hurt. But holding on to the need to be right doesn't heal the wound. It only prolongs the pain. It keeps you stuck in a place of frustration and bitterness where the only thing growing is your resentment. And it will eventually cause you to become sick. But when you let go of that need, when you choose peace over pride, you take the first step toward freedom. You allow yourself the space to heal, to forgive, and to move forward. It's not about the other person. It's not about proving a point. It's about you, your peace, your growth, and your ability to create a life free from the chains of anger and resentment. So ask yourself, is being right worth the cost of your peace? Let go of the need to be right, and you will find that the peace you've been searching for has always been within your reach. Forgiveness is rarely something that happens in one grand, sweeping moment. It's a process, a series of small steps, each one leading you closer to the peace you deserve. We often think of forgiveness as a singular, dramatic decision, but in reality, it is the result of a series of tiny, intentional choices to let go. Let's be clear. Forgiveness isn't about forgetting what happened, nor is it about excusing the actions that caused the pain. It's about giving yourself permission to move forward, to stop carrying the weight of anger and bitterness. It's a decision to reclaim your peace, and that decision is made step by step. The beauty of starting with small steps is that it makes the whole process more manageable. You don't have to forgive everything at once. You don't need to let go of everything all in one moment. It's a journey, and you can begin wherever you are. One small step can have a tremendous impact. It might start with writing a letter you never intend to send. This simple act of writing allows you to release all the emotions, the pain, the frustration, and the confusion. It's your chance to speak your truth without the need for confrontation or reconciliation. You can say everything you've been holding inside, every word you've kept locked away in your heart, and then, after you've expressed it, you let it go. Whether you keep the letter, tear it up, or burn it, you've taken a small but powerful step toward healing. You've acknowledged your pain, and now you can begin the process of releasing it. Another small but significant step is to say a silent prayer or affirmation for the person who hurt you. I know it may sound impossible at first, but the act of offering well wishes to someone who has wronged you can be incredibly freeing. This doesn't mean you're condoning their actions. It means you are choosing to release the hold they have on your life. You are no longer allowing their behavior to dictate your emotions. By choosing to wish them peace, you free yourself from the emotional chains that bind you to them. It might be hard at first, but with every prayer or affirmation, you begin to loosen the grip of anger and resentment. You start to reclaim your power, and with it, your peace. Each of these small acts is a step toward the freedom you seek. They don't erase the past, but they transform your relationship with it. Forgiveness is not about forgetting. It's about choosing not to let the past dictate your present. It's about allowing yourself to heal, to move forward, and to experience the fullness of life once again. Each act of letting go, no matter how small, brings you closer to that freedom. So start with one small step today. Write that letter, say that prayer, and know that each small act is a victory in the journey toward forgiveness and ultimately peace. Forgiveness is not something you do just once and forget about. It's the key to lightening your heart, clearing your mind, and creating a life full of peace and opportunity. When forgiveness becomes a habit, it transforms your entire life. It doesn't just change how you feel about others, it changes how you feel about yourself. You stop letting the actions of others control your emotional state. You stop letting anger and bitterness take up space in your heart and mind. Instead, you make room for love, peace, and understanding. It's as though you're shedding the weight of the past and stepping into a new version of yourself, one who is free, one who is empowered to move forward with clarity and purpose. The most powerful part of forgiveness is how it affects your relationships. Holding on to grudges only serves to create distance, to build walls between you and the people you care about. But when you make forgiveness a lifestyle, your relationships grow stronger. You start to see the people around you with a sense of understanding, realizing that we're all human and we all make mistakes. Forgiveness doesn't mean that you condone hurtful behavior. It means that you choose not to let it define your relationship. You let go of the need to be right, to seek revenge, and instead, you embrace compassion. And when you forgive, you create an environment where others feel safe to do the same. It's an invitation to build deeper, more authentic connections. The impact of living a life of forgiveness extends beyond just your heart and relationships. It ripples out into every area of your life. When you choose forgiveness, you reclaim your power. You stop letting the negativity of the past hold you back from living the life you deserve. It's like clearing away the clutter from your mind, freeing up space to focus on what truly matters. You're no longer bogged down by the emotional weight of resentment, and that creates room for opportunity, growth, and success. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean excusing harmful behavior, but it does mean that you are no longer letting that behavior control your future. It's about releasing yourself from the chains of the past and choosing to move forward with an open heart. And when forgiveness becomes a habit, a part of the very way you live, you begin to experience a life that's richer, more fulfilling, and filled with possibilities. You don't just survive, you thrive. Forgiveness is not always easy, but it is always worth it. It's a gift you give to yourself, a declaration that you refuse to let pain or anger control your life. By forgiving yourself and others, you open the door to joy, peace, and purpose. So I challenge you, who do you need to forgive today? And what freedom awaits you on the other side? The power of forgiveness is in your hands. Use it and watch your life transform.